RealAg Live. And welcome to RealAg Live, everybody. Shaun Haney here with my co-host today, Kara Oosterhuis. How's it going today, Kara?
Oh, I'm doing good. It was weird, actually. I'm used to the RealAg Live intro, and I was about to say, "Hey, Kara Rooster, I was here," and then I was like, "Oh, I don't got this one." So, and
Yeah,
I
go ahead.
do see in the comments though, we got a birthday wish to one of our regulars, Alan. Happy 68th birthday!
Nice. A big shout out there to Alan celebrating a birthday. He's out in Manitoba, so thanks a lot for tuning in. Alan tunes in quite regularly here to the shows. So today, if you want to provide any comments or questions, of course, like every other day, you can participate in this show by entering that question or comment in the box, whether you're watching on YouTube, Twitter, or Facebook. And like I tend to say sometimes, this isn't like some of the other boring Zoom calls, webinars you've been asked to participate in where maybe some of it's recorded beforehand. No, we are live. And you can participate in the program as we go through it. We've got some big news today about RealAg Live in this show, what kind of the plan is kind of going forward. We're going to get to some of that in a little bit. But Kara, we've been doing, I don't know where we are on the episode count here of RealAg Live, but we've got to be somewhere north of 200, we kind of figured.
We would, I think we'd be under 300, but we're probably somewhere in that 250, the high 200s,
Yeah.
I'd say. Absolutely, because we've been going, I was looking, and we started in May of last year, so it's been about a year. And although we weren't going 5 days a week right off the bat, we have we've done a lot of these. And yes, Lindsay, somebody's birthday is Sunday. For anyone who is watching, be
Mm-hmm.
sure to give Mr. Shaun Haney a shout out on Sunday. It is
Yep.
your birthday.
39.
Yeah,
Yep.
39 forever, hey?
I'm 39. Yep.
Yeah.
Do you know, Kara? A little bit of trivia here for you. Do you know who the first guest was for our first ever live stream?
Ooh, I feel like I should know this.
This shows you how
I
much we
don't. I
actually
know.
prepared because Kara didn't know there was trivia.
Yeah, no, I know who my first guest was, but I cannot remember who your first one was. No.
Peter Wheat Pete Johnson.
Oh, yes, of course it
Yeah,
was.
and I remember. No, Lindsay guessed John Drager from.
You saw Lindsay was wrong too.
Yeah, huh. So who do you think would be the most common guest to Real Ag Live?
Peter Wheatbeat Johnson.
Well, I
Um,
actually think Lindsay's answer is right. It's either Wheat Pete or it's John Dreger from left field.
I don't know. We had Brian Voth on.
Oh,
I hosted
Brian,
him at least
yeah,
3 times too, and you hosted him. So,
Brian
and Jeremy
Voth.
Boykin was on a few times. There's been a couple that have been regulars.
Yeah, and you know what? Everybody has been so awesome about it. Like I think initially there was a lot of like, what we're gonna do this live video first of all. Two, we're doing this live. What are you talking about? That's probably why I started with Wheat Pete because he's 2 feet in on everything. But
Yeah.
people really caught on to the concept, and I think also really felt a level of trust that hey, we're both in this together. We're both live, so our job as the host is to make the guests look as good as possible and kind of get because live can be intimidating. I think, right?
Well, and from a technical spot, we definitely are both in this together when we're hosting these lives because I know, like, oh man, I'm thinking back to my very first one. I was quite nervous because we don't like, I do a ton of interviews for Real Ag, but none of them are usually live, right? So that's a whole different concept. And I came into the office in Lethbridge, and it was Jeremy Boychin I was hosting, and oh man, what, we were maybe 2 minutes in. I didn't even get over the pre jitters, and he completely cut out. I like no sound, no nothing. I just sit here and I go, oh, okay, this is what live is. We quickly deemed the word back sweat when it comes to the lives, and it was always okay. How did that go on a scale of 1 to that first back sweat? So
Yeah.
it's experience on both ends, and yeah, definitely we've had some really good guests. I think of like Katie Ketty. She's a farmer out in Nova Scotia, I believe, and she was Yeah, Shaun is a young guy. That's right, Alan. 39 forever. But Katie is out east, and there was one time when I don't know, the wind came up, or rural internet here. It was probably, I think it was February, big winter storm, something came up. My internet went right out for a couple minutes, and she just kept talking. She just happily kept hanging out. And shout out to producer Jay, who would just throw her questions. So there's a few we had. I mean, all our guests were fantastic, but there were some times that like you guys really carried us through too.
Yeah, I remember one. It was I think it was during the December lockdown here in Alberta, and I was broadcasting from home. And the way the light situation is in our kitchen, the fridge was the backdrop, and members of my family would continue to go to the fridge and open that stuff up, and I think pretty much everyone in the house has made some sort of cameo appearance in the background, and the fun of like not acknowledging it and sort of talking through it, there was some real distractions at times.
But for those that aren't a part of obviously real agriculture, there was always some background chat. I think we always had a few bets who was going to come in and who wasn't. There was one time when Shaun's wife was she had a bunch of boxes that she was moving in the background, just kept moving, and we're like, oh no, she's gone, she's leaving him, and that's the end. We'll see you later, Trish. She's packing out on a live. So
Yeah, my marriage ends in the middle of a live broadcast. Yeah,
yeah,
she's still we're still at home together. It's all good, everybody.
it's
Just
all
not.
good. Yeah, no, let's not start that rumor on the live.
Yeah,
Trish
but
is still at home.
so one of the ideas here was, and we got started with the RealAg Lives because of COVID. Really, it was because you know what? Okay, we can't go anywhere. We're trapped in the studio or at home, and we can't go out to events. Let's bring the events to us. And so we kind of got this kind of pushed us over the edge to get started with the lives, and it's been great. And the agronomist has spun off of it, which is really a lot of fun on Monday nights, Real Ag in prime time. That's been great. But one of the ideas initially, and still is, that we would have more in studio guests, right? People would come to us to the Real Ag studio here in Lethbridge, Alberta, and we'd be able to have, do the Real Ag Live with people in studio. It hasn't worked out that way. We've had maybe three, four in studio guests, I'm thinking, over the time we've been doing it.
I was thinking about this, and I think the only like I've hosted in studio a few times in Lethbridge, but the only one I had in was Gregory Sekulich with previously with the Canola Council.
Yep.
He came in, so that was a good one. But yeah, you had who did you have? You had Ross McKenzie
Ross
with
McKenzie
you.
has been in studio. Autumn Barnes has been in studio, and Shane Thomas has been in studio. Those are the ones I remember. And if I forgot anybody, I apologize. But those are the ones that kind of come to mind as far as being in studio. So that's been the part that's kind of sucked is we haven't been able to do the in studio stuff. It's all been via connecting by video like this.
Well, and the thing is that we kind of developed this idea in April of last year, or started thinking about it kind of as the pandemic hit, and then April kind of came around, and we go, okay, but we didn't think. I mean, we're on round whatever of lockdowns in Alberta again, and didn't think we'd be back here in May. It's
No.
how it's unfortunately gone, but that was kind of a hard thing with developing it too, is we didn't know where we'd be even a month from now.
Yeah, and I think one of the fun things has also been the ad hoc, sort of like the pop-up ones that we've done is on November, the FPT meetings. On that Friday, we did a special, almost like a mainstream, let's break this down, breaking news, and here's our panel. We also did it on Budget Day. We did a special on that Monday when the federal government put out their first budget in like, I don't know, 10 years. No, it was actually like two, but it felt like 10 years. And those shows were really, I think, kind of awesome. It really showcases that we can do more of these kinds of broadcasts in agriculture. So that's definitely the intent to do more of that going forward.
Absolutely, and some of the analysis, like there's a bunch of cuts to Alberta Ag research. You and Calvin jumped on, and we just chatted about what was going on. So we've had a couple analysis shows too that maybe weren't right after breaking news that have been a lot of fun to do as well. And as Lara is pointing out, let's not forget how great our Christmas special was. So we have had a few of just the real team on, and that's been fun too. It's of course silly at times because that's how we are, and we all missed each other too. But we've also had some great analysis on those shows too.
Yeah, and I think one of the parts through a lot of the stuff with COVID has been, the ability for people to interact. So we've seen this a lot on the agronomists, where there's people asking questions of the panel or asking questions of us, but then there's this whole side chatter going on. And I know I've had some of these lives in the afternoons where, we can see uh, in our software here all the comments, right, that are coming in from Twitter, YouTube, and Facebook. And sometimes they have nothing to do with what we're talking about. And so you have to sort of think as the host and pierce through, like, is that related to because it doesn't show up as a thread. It just shows up as one big blob of comments. And so you don't know which ones are connected to what. And so you kind of have to, in your own mind, piece it together as you're trying to have a conversation with a guest.
Absolutely. Yeah, that is and it's but that brings up another point. I think these lives have been a lot of fun because there has been, we're of course we want you guys to listen and be a part of the conversation, but there is those side conversations going on too, and it kind of feels like a coffee shop sometimes that we do, through the lockdowns and no shows and all that. We're still we're having fun in the comments, and
Yeah.
we're having fun through it.
Now, traditionally at Real Agriculture, Kara, you've been mainly focused on agronomy, but one of the things the lives have really presented the opportunity for you to do is sort of spread your wings, broaden your horizons, so to speak. Me throwing you into an interview on aquaculture. Like that. How about that?
Yeah. So, I said before that I'm from Southern Alberta, and what do I know about aquaculture? Apparently, there is an aquaculture scene around here. I'm not familiar with it, but it's here. So I got corrected on that after that live. But it's so much. I giggle at something like aquaculture, but it's been so much fun to be able to broaden my horizons like that, and to be able to kind of experience new things, and talk to people that are outside of my usual circle of agronomists, and like things like I don't know, the first time Shaun asked me to do a market live, I'm pretty sure it was only a couple hours before, and I was like,
Mm.
oh goody, here we go. And now I'm no pro yet, but I'm quite comfortable doing a market interview. So it's been really fun to be able to just kind of fun and educational. I don't know. I've really enjoyed it.
Yeah,
And
it has been.
Jim, I don't know if Shaun has a Jays game on behind the scenes, but do not distract him. On
Hey,
mine,
Jim, Bichette just hit a double. They're up 6-4, top of nine.
Shaun! Now there we go. I have all my attention on you, and he's watching the Jays game.
I
There we go. May
Well,
as well just shut
it's
the podcast off now.
watching or paying attention to. Kara, it's called multitasking. It takes real skill to be able. He says, "I know I'm watching." It takes real skill to be able to have a conversation, follow the comments, and make sure the Blue Jays are taking care of business against the Braves.
Well, and for those that don't know Shaun that well, that is exactly how you operate. If any of you guys ever get a chance when things are open and you get to go visit the office, you'll see that he has like a media room where he'll have 3 different shows going on, one of them usually being the Golf Channel.
Yeah.
But he always has things going on, and he can tell you exactly what happened 3 doors down somehow. So it's a skill, and it's a skill we've had to learn on the lives too.
Yeah, it's wait a minute, Lindsay. It is totally multitasking. It is not lack of focus. Did I at all seem like I was not focusing on my discussion with Kara? Absolutely not. I was fully
Well, Jim called
engaged.
you out on it, so maybe.
No, I think he was testing because I came through. He's like, I know that Sean's probably got an eye on the baseball game. He's like, yeah, boy. Like, see, Blue Jay, you got to be into it. It's baseball season.
And
It's
Lindsay brings up another great point. She's saying, what the audience doesn't see, how many guests scramble to a new location for better Wi-Fi right before going to the
oh yeah.
live. I know you probably, Shaun, have some stories here, but one of mine was Danny Ottenbright. He came on a live with me, and we were nice and early trying to get the technical stuff all figured out. And oh my gosh, he had to drive to town. It was like 1 minute before we're going live, and he's like, I'm trying to get to Wi-Fi. like,
Yeah.
because it just rural Saskatchewan wasn't working out. So the struggle has been very real.
I now tell guests, I had one experience where it could have worked out very, very badly. I now tell guests that if we lose you and you drop out, dial, click the link, come back in, but remember, we're still live. Like, don't come back and be like, holy, We're still live. I remember one of the very first ones we did. I was my guest was JP Gervais from Farm Credit Canada, and JP dropped out all of a sudden. Just boom, JP's gone. So I'm carrying the show, continuing through the tech challenges, and then all of a sudden JP comes back in, and I was so thankful that he didn't come back in with his French accent and start dropping f bombs in French or something like that. I don't think people at Farm Credit Canada have been too impressed about that. But yes, so now I warn people all the time.
But you do know, like, for having 200 or so of them, I mean, like, I hate to, I don't want to jinx it, but I've never had the F-bomb drop on the show. I don't think, like, our guests have been really good.
Yeah,
I think Lindsay's probably been the most verbal on the show, to be honest.
she's just a potty mouth in general. So that's kind of that's just the way I think that she rolls. It's that's to be expected.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, yeah. The other one that happens a lot, Kara, as you know, is like, okay, we're going to be live at the top of the hour. Can you come on 5 minutes early? Well, when you tell somebody 5 minutes early, most people that means 5 minutes late. So then you start to tell people 10 minutes early, then they show up like 1 minute before the broadcast. And then so that you sort of work your way through, well, who am I really? And then what happens? You tell somebody 20 minutes, so they'll be 10 minutes early, and that's the prompt person that shows up 20 minutes before. And you're like, okay, well, now we're really early. I don't know why we were this early, but yeah.
Yeah, that's what I was just gonna say. There's definitely been a few that like are just in the nick of time, but kudos to the ones though. There's been some really good guests that have squeezed us in too, where they're like, I gotta go at the half an hour mark, and I'm busy right until the minute before, and we go live, and then they're gone. So
yeah,
that's been a lot of fun too.
Yesterday we had Ted Seifert on from RealAg Hedge to talk about the WASD report, and Ted, so he could be the guest on our show, moved a webinar he was hosting for his clients so that he could.
I'm going to take this and I'm going to move it.
yes, exactly. So Jim, you have no comment. Jim was a guest one time. And if I remember right, he had tons of Wi-Fi troubles, didn't he?
Yeah, because I was the one hosting him. I think we finally went live at like 10 after 1, Jim. But I mean, it was a good one. To be fair, I think we had the whole Hale family on, so that's always fun.
Yeah, absolutely. Then Brienne says, then there's the anxiety-driven people where you say 20 minutes early and they're 45 minutes before. Yep, there's that.
They're going to get an empty broadcast because I can tell you we're not on 45 minutes early.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, well. So one of the things we wanted to talk about here today is we've been kind of reminiscing about all of the live broadcasts we've done, and they've been so much fun. They've been a great time for us. I think I can speak for Kara and say that we have really enjoyed hosting them. That is like, it's a highlight of the day. And, I do the radio show on Sirius XM and I talk to just a wall, right? It's like, me pretending there's an audience. In this case, there is an audience, or at least a guest in front of you to have an interaction with. And they're also longer form interviews where you get to dive into a number of different topics over the 30 minutes. And some have even gone 45 minutes, which is, is pretty awesome. Guests willing to hang on if there's lots of questions from the audience. So what we're doing, it's now the middle of May. We got the long weekend of May coming up here right away. We've made the decision at Real Agriculture to take a break. Everybody is out in the field. We want to be out in the field, capturing some of the experiences, the challenges, the opportunities of the growing season across the country. And so what we're going to do is we're going to take a break between now and fall. So early September, our intention is to come back with a daily live broadcast. But what we're going to do is, last year, beginning of COVID, everybody is kind of around, and this year's a little bit different, even though some of the lockdowns have kind of continued and stuff like that. But we feel we really have we really want to. We have a small staff here. Like, we don't just secret to everybody. There's a little bit of people doing a lot of work. So we really feel that being out in the field is a little bit more important. And so that's the decision that we've made. I say that with some sadness attached to it, because it is kind of one of the highlights of the day, Kara, is the ability to do this and be able to interact with the audience.
I will safely say that these, like, yes, absolutely. It's, I agree. This pause will be, we want to get out into the field to get you guys. I mean, I'm following all these agronomic schools. We're going to get you some exciting research that's going on in the field, and we'll get it to you from the field. So that's super exciting. Obviously, once COVID allows us to do so, but I will say that something like December can be a tough one, but like I struggle through February. I don't know where my mental head is not there. It is cold, it is dark, but like being able to hop on and have an actual conversation with somebody like
Yeah.
that, like the lives, you guys got me through February in a lot better shape than I usually am. So it's a lot of fun. Yeah.
Yeah, I also mentioned that we are going to continue with the agronomists through the summer. You know, it is the growing season. We have lots of agronomic issues to break down and talk about. So the agronomists on Monday nights will continue, 8 o'clock Eastern, 6 o'clock Mountain. And I'll also tell you this, that we're really going into some planning here for fall. I think we may have a few surprises when it comes to our live programming and some of the programming we're regularly putting out when we get to fall. So it's almost like a CBS, a release of the fall schedule. How about that kind of drama? You wanted a cliffhanger? There's a cliffhanger for you.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, not like, yeah, we like drama, but maybe not like the typical season end cliffhanger. We'll keep it.
Will Kara be back? No, that's not what
Well,
we're saying.
Kara, oh my gosh, this is when Kara loses her job on live live broadcast. Oh man, what a hard
No.
time I'd have finding another job, wouldn't I?
No, we got a whole bunch of plans, some ideas, and so I think we're gonna have a whole lot more than just kind of what we've been doing, and we're really looking forward to rolling it out in the fall. Kara and I have had so much fun doing this. We really do appreciate it, and yeah, we're look forward to the schools. We've got lots of schools coming out. You know, wheat, canola, pulse, corn, soybeans. We got a soil school, edible bean school. Plus, you know, on top of that, the agronomist. I don't know where you're going to find more agronomic content on a weekly basis. It is at our agronomic encyclopedia, our library of content, that vault of agronomic content is absolutely amazing. So make sure you're accessing it. And if you ever do have a question where you're like, hey, do you guys have a video on this? Like if Google's not helping you out finding some of our stuff, you know, reach out to us and ask us. And we would love to provide you with some of that concierge service to say, hey, here's a video we have on this topic, and maybe this will help you.
And fun fact, like you said, Google, I know it's amazing. You can just type in for some of you. I know because I've had questions before. Have you guys ever done this? You know, flea beetles. I get the question every year, and we every year do new flea beetle videos. However, if you want to look at the archives, you can go to canolaschool.com, but you can also just Google flea beetles, real agriculture, and everything will come flying at you. So, and as well, Shaun, another good reminder is that, of course, we'd love for you to watch our videos. We do it. We put in a lot of work editing and getting you nice visuals, but they also come in podcast format.
Yeah.
So if you are sitting in the tractor and you just want to listen to something, they look up all our schools too on Spotify. Basically anywhere you get your podcasts, you can find them.
Update for Jim Hale. It is 8-4 Jays, top of 9, 2 out with somebody on second base. So there's your baseball update. I will also say this, that we may spring up here through the growing. Like the regular at 3 o'clock Eastern isn't going to happen, but I sometimes get in a bit of the mood, like, hey, let's talk to the audience. So we may spring up from time to time where we're going to do a bit of a special episode like we sort of did on the budget. There's breaking news. Like, let's say there's a government federal cabinet shuffle, something we need to talk about. We'll definitely pop up and make sure that we address some of those issues with you, because this live is a great way to do it. Alan, do you guys ever have interviews with guys from southwestern Manitoba? Of course we do. Kelvin Hepner is in Altona, and so he's always out there doing interviews and things like that. So for sure. Thanks a lot for tuning in, Alan. Okay,
and it is a good reminder though that even our lives, all our content though, like we're British Columbia to as far east as you can go. We've talked to people, so that's we try and cover as much of you guys as we can, Alan.
Absolutely. You know what, Kara, I think we'll sign off from here. So remember, everybody, Agronomists, Monday nights, 8 o'clock Eastern, 6 o'clock Mountain, RealAg in prime time. That is going to continue. We're going to take a break on the lives until the fall. And of course, we've got all of our crop schools and all of our coverage of all the breaking news and current events at realagriculture.com. So thanks, everybody, for getting real and getting connected with RealAg Live. And we'll see you again soon. Thanks a lot, Kara, and everybody out there.
Bye, everybody.